What if I told you one single year rewired rock music forever? 1971. The year FM radio went widescreen, when a 7-minute anthem that never even hit the Hot 100 became the most requested track on the dial. When a folk poet wrote a piano prayer the whole world could sing. When Prog found its groove, Glam found its swagger, and a Latin jam shook stadiums. Tonight, we count down the 15 rock songs from 1971 you simply don't forget. From CCR's Highway Grit to Sabbath's Quake, from Roundabout to Riders on the Storm, from Maggie May to the staircase every guitarist tries to climb. No filler, no repeats, just the records that built modern rock. If you love deep dives and true stories behind the riffs, you're in the right place. This is Rock Lore. Subscribe, and let's drop the needle. Number 15. If you want the sound of a band trying to outrun the storm, this is it. Sweet Hitchhiker is CCR near the end of their run. Short, fast, and built on John Fogerty's turbocharged guitar chug. There's no long build here, just 2 minutes and change of pure highway energy. It's the kind of record that feels like a live take. Tight drums, lean bass line, riff that grabs your collar. What makes it hit harder is the timing. By mid-1971, the cracks inside Creedence were getting wider. This single arrives like one last burst of unity before the breakup drama swallows the group. It also became their final US top 10 hit, peaking at number 6, proof that even on the way out, these guys could still light up the dial. Have you ever had a song feel like a time capsule from a band's final fighting moment? Which CCR cut screams "Last Stand" to you?
Hey, Rock Lore community. Before we continue, let's have a real talk for a second, bro. You know, this isn't just a channel to us. And I hope it's not just a place you come to watch a video and then forget about it. This is a community. It's a place where we get to dig up the secrets of rock and roll, share our favorite riffs, and celebrate the artists who maybe didn't get the love they deserved. Right now, only about 1% of our viewers are subscribed. We can change that together and grow this community. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button with the notification bell on. When you do, you're not just helping a channel grow, you're becoming a member of the Rock Lore family. You're signaling to us and to YouTube that these stories matter, that this music is worth preserving, and that this community is a place you want to be. Subscribing is your way of making sure you're always in the loop. It means you'll be the first to know when we unearth a forgotten legend, drop a new countdown, or dive into a piece of rock history you've never heard before. So if you're a true fan of the lore, if you get that same feeling of discovery that I do, then come join us. It takes 1 second to be a part of something bigger.
Now that I've lost everything to you, say you want to start something.
Heaviness, a 4-minute invitation to hope. Peace Train rides on a simple acoustic groove, hand claps, and a melody that sticks with you all day.
It's hard to get by just upon a smile.
Cat Stevens sings like someone who believes the world can be kinder. And in that year, Vietnam still raging, campuses still tense, that message didn't feel soft, it felt brave. The production is clean but warm, courtesy of Paul Samuel Smith, with strings that lift the chorus without smothering it.
And it's hard to get by just upon a smile.
The result? A crossover hit that climbed to number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100 and held number 1 on the adult contemporary chart for 3 weeks. Think about that. A straight-up peace anthem sharing radio space with the heaviest rock of the year. When was the last time you heard Peace Train in the wild? And did it change the mood of the room? If rock had a class on how to write a perfect melody, this would be lesson 1. Day after day sounds effortless. Those aching vocals from Pete Ham, the chiming guitars, and then the famous slide guitar duet, where Ham trades lines with George Harrison. It's not just a cameo. Harrison helped shape the track and the sound, and you can hear his touch in the guitar tone and the elegance of the arrangement. Listen closely for the piano. Leon Russell's rolling lines are the glue that keeps the whole thing glowing. This is power pop at its most adult, romantic, bittersweet, sung by a band that never quite got the safety net it deserved. The single reached number 4 in the US and became Badfinger's biggest hit, but it also hints at the deeper heartbreak that would shadow the band. Do you hear this as a love song or a goodbye? And which part floors you more, the vocal or that twin slide solo? Drop the needle and you're inside the Fillmore East, March 1971. The Almonds don't ease you in. They explode into Statesboro Blues, a blind Willie McTell tune reborn as a slide guitar masterclass. Duane Allman's opening lick is one of rock's great door knocks. Sharp, singing, perfectly in tune, even as the glass bottle on his finger screams across the strings. That bottle matters. Duane learned slide after hearing Taj Mahal's take on the song and started using a Coricidin medicine bottle to get that smooth vocal tone. On this cut, the band is a 6-headed engine. Greg's soulful voice and Hammond, Dickie Betts answering guitar lines, 2 drummers pushing the groove like a freight train. The performance is the mission statement for At Fillmore East, released that July. No overdubs, just fire. Tell me this, what's the single most exciting opening 10 seconds on any rock record you know? And does Statesboro Blues beat it? Turn off the lights and feel the floor shake. Sabbath's Children of the Grave is heavy for a reason, and not only because of the riff. Lyrically, it's a warning shot, a call to the young to push back against war and fear, continuing the anti-war thread they'd pulled on with War Pigs. Musically, it's the sound of Tony Iommi's down-tuned guitar, lowered to ease the pain from his injured fingertips, locking in with Geezer Butler's bass and Bill Ward's relentless drive. That detuned crunch gives the song its menacing heartbeat, a hypnotic chug that feels like marching boots in the dark. It's not just volume, it's design. Ozzy rides above it with a vocal that's both chant and alarm. Here's a question. When people say metal began here, do you think they're talking about the sound or the subject matter? Which matters more to you, the riff or the message? This is prog rock turning into a pop hit without losing its strange heart. It opens with Steve Howe's bright acoustic figure. Then the band slams into Chris Squire's elastic bass line and Bill Bruford's tricky drum accents. John Anderson sings images from a road trip. Mountains come out of the sky. But the story is really the sound. A band building a city from bass, keys, and harmony. Listen for Rick Wakeman's organ and synth breaks. They don't show off for long. They arrive, dazzle, and move the song forward. That's why it works. It first lived on the 1971 album Fragile. A shorter single edit soon pulled a huge audience into Prog. Question for you. Do you prefer the full album version with all the twists, or the tight single edit that hits the hook faster? A New York mambo classic reborn as West Coast Latin rock. The tune started with Tito Puente in the early 60s, but Santana's 1971 version made it a global groove. The recipe is simple and perfect. Greg Rowley's Hammond organ plays the piano montuno. Carlos Santana's guitar sings in long lyrical lines, and the rhythm team, congas, timbales, drum kit, turns the room into a dance floor. It's call and response without words. Guitar answers organ, organ answers percussion, and the beat never lets go. You can hear how easily this moved from clubs to stadiums. It's both tight and wide open. Engage with me. When this comes on, what locks you in first? The organ riff, the guitar tone, or the percussion? 23 minutes that feel like an ocean trip in slow motion. Echoes closes metal and points to the future Floyd would build on the dark side of the moon. It begins with a single ping, a treated piano tone that sounds like sonar in a deep sea. From there, voices, guitar, and keyboards drift and return, like currents pulling in different directions and meeting again. David Gilmour's guitar finds seagull cries by running a wah pedal backwards. Nick Mason and Roger Waters keep the pulse patient and steady. Richard Wright's keys color the sky above it all. The lyrics talk about connection, faces in the crowd recognizing each other. And that's what the music does too. It starts far apart and ends together. It's long, yes, but never lazy. Every section leads you somewhere. Your turn. Do you treat echoes as a piece to sit with, start to finish, or do you jump to your favorite section? And which one is it? This video is sponsored by the Lore Store on Amazon, your one-stop shop for music lovers across reggae, rock, pop, and hip-hop. We built it for real listeners who don't want to dig through 1,000 listings to find the right gear. Inside the Lore Store, you'll find 5 aisles. VIP, top, battle-tested essentials. Headphones, turntables, speakers, gig-safe earplugs, smart speakers. Reggae vibe, roots and lovers. Rock made easy, automatic decks, warm bookshelf speakers, vinyl care. Rock lore, classic rock must-haves. Open back cans, simple amps, living room concert vibes. Pop lore, feel-good everyday setups, clean, clear speakers, easy streaming, nostalgia-friendly picks. Hip-hop must-haves, punchy bass without the muddle, closed-back headphones and living room systems that handle low-end, plus a rotating crate of old album vinyl if you're rebuilding a 60s-90s collection. Every product page tells you who it's for, 3 pros, 1 con, and why we picked it. So you can choose with confidence. Flying soon? Check. VIP for noise canceling that tames plane roar. Mostly listening at home? Try open-back headphones that let live albums breathe. Want instant gratification vinyl? Our fully automatic turntable is 1 button from silence to music, and the record cleaning kit knocks down crackle so the bass tightens up. Headed to shows? Grab high-fidelity earplugs. Hands-free at home? Our smart speaker picks let you say, play 70s reggae or classic pop, and you're there. Deal alert! If you use the link in the description, you'll land on our curated picks with current best available Amazon pricing and active discounts where applicable. Prices change, so buy now to lock in today's deal. Tap the link in the description, pick your aisle, grab a favorite, and tell me which category you want me to build next. The Lore Store. Listen better, with gear that gets out of the way and lets the music live. This is glam rock's walk down the street, hips first. Mark Bolan doesn't push, he glides. The guitars are fuzzy but soft around the edges. Tony Visconti's production floats the groove, and the hand claps make the whole thing feel like a party you just walked into.
In your shoes and your stockings, you and me wild out, yeah.
There are slide details everywhere, backing vocals that wink, a sax break that struts, and a chorus that lands on the word gong, like a grin.
Like a call, you got a hubcap, diamond star halo.
It topped the UK charts in 1971 and later crossed the Atlantic under a retitled banner. But the magic is the same. Effortless swagger that never turns mean. Question: when you think glam, is this the song in your head? Or does another track define the look and the feel better? A storm you can hear and a story you can't quite escape. The last single released with Jim Morrison still alive, it rolls in on rain and thunder. Then Ray Manzarek's Rhodes piano starts that watery shimmer.
Love your man. You gotta love your man.
The groove is jazz smooth. John Densmore on drums, Robbie Krieger on guitar, tracing those late-night lines. And Morrison sings in a calm voice that makes the danger feel closer. The lyric carries a traveler, a highway, and a killer on the road. The whisper track under Jim's vocal makes it sound like a ghost is following you.
But I need a hand on life will never rest. Gotta love your man.
It's the sound of the Los Angeles night. Beautiful, empty, a little afraid. Tell me, do you hear this more as a noir film in sound or as a road poem? And when do you play it most, sunset or after midnight?
Imagine all the people.
A simple piano, a soft voice, a song that asked the world to picture something kinder. Imagine, is Lennon taking the raw honesty of his earlier solo work and shaping it into a melody everyone could carry. The chords are plain, the tempo is unhurried, and the message is direct on purpose. You can hear the room in the recording, the slight echo of a real piano in a real house, because this wasn't built to sound like a polished dream. It was meant to feel close. Yoko Ono's ideas about imagination and peace flow through the lyric, and Phil Spector's light touch with strings keeps the song floating instead of swelling.
It isn't hard to do.
What gives it lasting power is the mix of courage and calm. It doesn't shout at you, it invites you. Half a century later, people still use it as a shared language at vigils, ceremonies, and tender moments they can't quite explain. When you hear it now, do you feel it as a protest, a prayer, or both? And what single line lands hardest for you?
You stole my heart, and that's what really hurts.
One of rock's happiest accidents. Maggie May started life as a B-side until DJs flipped the single and listeners wouldn't let go. The story is simple. A young man, an older lover, a summer that goes too far. And Rod Stewart sings it like a confession told after midnight. The acoustic guitars jangle and push. The bass walks with purpose. And that mandolin solo near the end turns the whole track into a bittersweet postcard you can hold in your hand.
Maggie, I couldn't have tried anymore.
It's not a perfect hero's tale. He knows he's being used, and he knows he'll miss her anyway. That's why the song sticks. It sounds like memory. Sunlit, messy, honest.
Make my bed, and in the morning kick me in the head.
It also changed Stewart's life, launching him from a respected singer into a global star, and making the album Every Picture Tells a Story, a statement, not just a record. What detail pulls you in most? The story, the rhythm, or the mandolin? And do you hear it as a coming-of-age win or a hard lesson learned? 8.5 minutes of hard truth dressed as a victory march. Pete Townshend wrote it out of frustration. Revolutions that promise everything and then just repaint the same old walls. The music makes that point with drama and detail. A pulsing synth pattern like a machine that never stops, power chords that hammer the beat into the ground, and Keith Moon's drums exploding around the pulse without ever losing it. Roger Daltrey's voice is the fuse and the blast. His long scream before the final chorus isn't just a rock move, it's the sound of a generation burning off its illusions. Live, it was the closer for a reason. Nobody wants to follow that. The song doesn't kill hope, it argues for clear eyes. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss, is less a punchline than a guardrail. When you hear it, do you feel fired up to fight smarter? Or just wary of being used again? And does Daltrey's scream still give you chills? A riff that never loosens its jaw. Brown Sugar kicks open sticky fingers with a guitar figure you recognize in 1 second and a groove that could run for hours. The band tracked the bones of it down south before the album came out, and you can hear the swagger of a group at full tilt. Charlie Watts holding steady, Keith Richards and Mick Taylor snapping those guitars like whips, and Bobby Keys' tenor sax taking a star turn with a solo that sounds both nasty and joyful. The lyric is wild and messy, pushing into taboo subjects with a wink that doesn't let you get comfortable. That tension, danger in the words, delight in the music, is the Stones' whole trick. It shot to #1 and has opened more sets than most bands have songs. What hooks you first? The opening riff, the drum feel, or the sax? And do you think the song's controversy adds to its power or holds it back today?
Hey, Rocklore community. Before we continue, let's have a real talk for a second, bro. You know, this isn't just a channel to us. And I hope it's not just a place you come to watch a video and then forget about it. This is a community. It's a place where we get to dig up the secrets of rock and roll, share our favorite riffs, and celebrate the artists who maybe didn't get the love they deserved. Right now, only about 1% of our viewers are subscribed. We can change that together and grow this community. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button with the notification bell on. When you do, you're not just helping a channel grow, you're becoming a member of the Rocklore family. You're signaling to us and to YouTube that these stories matter, that this music is worth preserving, and that this community is a place you want to be. Subscribing is your way of making sure you're always in the loop. It means you'll be the first to know when we unearth a forgotten legend, drop a new countdown, or dive into a piece of rock history you've never heard before. So if you're a true fan of the lore, if you get that same feeling of discovery that I do, then come join us. It takes 1 second to be a part of something bigger.
In a tree by the brook, there's a songbird.
A song built like a staircase you actually climb. It begins in a quiet room with a 12-string guitar and recorders tracing a folk melody. Robert Plant sings in riddles that feel like a myth you almost remember. Then the steps get steeper. The drums enter, the bass thickens, the electric guitars start to glow, and the tempo edges forward without you noticing. By the time the solo arrives, the whole band is a storm you want to stand in. John Bonham's drums don't just mark time, they lift the air. Jimmy Page's guitar answers Plant like a second narrator, and John Paul Jones fills the middle with lines that glue the song together. And then the final section, faster, harder, inevitable, lands with the line, "And she's buying a stairway to heaven." Now less a puzzle and more a promise. Every choice has a cost.
Of smoke through the trees, and the voices of those who
It was never released as a US single, yet it became the most requested song on rock radio for years. That's how deeply it lived in people's heads. Where do you turn the volume up? The folk opening, the solo, or the final sprint? And do you remember the first time it really hit you? The journey doesn't end here, Rock Warrior. Watch this next.